Limit maximum volume.
The show.
Can we start the show like that? I don't know what that was, but we should definitely do it.
Let's get going.
My microphone was like, no, we're not going to get going.
Goodness, man.
Ooh, I think you started it. Let's start the show. What's up, guys? Mike Frank and Christian Olson back together again, talking about iBuyers. And I guess the question becomes, does nobody want straight cash right now?
I have a very controversial...
Ooh, let's fucking hear it. Starting the day off right.
So I think this whole iBuyer thing is for people who didn't prepare themselves or take the necessary steps.
I'm curious. I'm curious what you mean. I think I know where you're going with this, but
so just reading this headline as does nobody want quick cash today, and like
that's not the selling headline.
Well, it's the hook.
In
the body. It's the caption.
Why don't more homeowners sell to as is companies?
But right. And it's like you need the quick cash. You need to get out of the situation you're in. And I feel like you just didn't prepare yourselves or have a clear expectation of what either homeownership looks like, owning real estate, taking care of real estate. And now you've put yourself in a situation that you cannot handle. And it's very unfortunate. And I'm not saying that you're not in a pickle.
Do you feel that iBuyer let's back up. All right. So for everybody that doesn't know, iBuyer, right? Internet buyer is based on the idea of a company coming in with an algorithm and a system to address the value of your home with some sort of systematic approach that they feel like they can purchase the property and sell, whether that's purchase, renovate and sell, purchase, rent and hold, purchase, sell right away, by bringing the property in with a salaried real estate team. Perhaps they feel like they can lower the expenses and maximize the productivity. But think about it. No business is in business for no profit.
No, I get that. But it's basically why, how is this any different than going to a wholesaler? And what wholesalers' mindset is.
iBuyer really means someone selling the property to another corporation, typically an internet company, that's going to come through with their algorithm and figure out where they can make money buying the property in cash with no additional expenses of real estate, closing costs, transfer taxes, title charges, because they cover most of those.
Right.
i.e. wholesaling. And we could go into that. So what you're saying, you're kind of lumping iBuyer, wholesaler, investor in together. And you're saying that people that are selling to those parties didn't plan accordingly.
I don't want to say 100% of those people because things do happen in life.
Right.
But
30%.
Yes.
The question that I was thinking is, of the people that sell to these iBuyer corporations, these wholesalers, these investors, cash for houses, junk cash kind of people.
Yeah.
How many of those people do you think are in the top 10% of America, top 30% of America, top 50% of America? Because go ahead.
Sorry, no. I didn't mean to interrupt.
To me, most of these organizations create profitability from people that otherwise don't know how to maximize their profit.
Yes.
Right?
I agree with that. And going back to your question of what percentage do these companies or people that buy these properties fall into in the United States?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, because they're it could be the top 1%, but they have other things that they're doing, right?
Well,
but you could be that person that buys a property. That's what I'm saying.
Is, I think that the top X percent of people, let's say it's the top 50% of people, have a person. They have a real estate agent that they trust. They have a contractor that they trust. They have a estate sale planning person. They have an attorney that they trust. Most people are not just liquidating the asset for whatever it's worth. They're not trying to go to an iBuyer, a wholesaler, a cash investor that's going to just give them quick cash, right? Most of the people that are of that higher income status have someone to maximize that productivity. The iBuyer program is to create quick cash as compared to maximized cash, in my
Call
opinion.
J.G. Wentworth.
Yeah, right. I mean, how does that dude make any money? He pays you a lump sum cash payment, and then he takes annuity.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if I was going to take, let's just say I had, $400 million, let's just say, hypothetically, and you won a, I don't know, $1.2 billion, lottery, right? And you chose at the time that you won the $1.2 billion lottery to take the annuity. And let's say the annuity is like $3 million a year, right? Mm-hmm. I would be calling you every single day. Why wait for $3 million every year when I can give you $320,000 right now? I'd be calling you every day. I'd get a new phone. I'd be knocking on your door. I'd be sending a helicopter to pick you up. Like everything that I could do, because it cost me $320,000 to make $3 million a year for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, I guess those maths don't work out. But like, if I had the ability to buy out an annuity, I would. And I agree with you. I think that iBuyer is the same organization. They're paying $270,000 for your house. They're slapping a coat of paint on it. They're, replacing cabinets. Their total investment is $35,000, and they're turning around and selling your property for $445,000.
Yeah, and what that also tells me is that you already have equity in your property.
Oh, that's another good point. Yeah.
Like this person wants your property as is. You already have equity in it. What if you, not saying you have to do it, but take out a home equity line of credit or some sort of thing to put it back into your house? Now you can sell it for a higher profit and recoup what you just put into it plus more.
Think about like, who's your client in Southern Maryland? Right.
My Uncle Bobby?
Yeah. So your Uncle Bobby says, I want to sell this property for maximum dollar. And you say, Uncle Bobby, I could come in here. I can use our investment. We can renovate the property, put on new floors, put in a new kitchen, countertops, appliances, lighting, make this property sparkle and shine, and we can sell it for what, $500?
I'd say in between $450 and $500. $500 would definitely be like the very high.
So $450 to $500, and he says, no, I don't want to. I want to sell it as is. Like, why? Right? Yeah. Like, we're here to help you maximize. And what we can do is spend $40,000 to get you $500,000, right? Or you could sell it today for $350,000.
Well, it's just like Joe Wilson's property that we had.
Right.
Like,
same thing. iBuyer offered him what, $330,000?
Something like that.
$330,000. We invested $34,000, I think was the number, right? Mm-hmm. We invested $34,000 and it sold for $462,000. 460?
No. 460.
460 exactly.
460, yeah.
So he had a cash deal from a straight up investor, iBuyer, wholesaler, whatever, for $330,000.
Yep.
We invested $35,000, so he's into the property $365,000, let's just say hypothetically, and he walked away with $465,000 or $460,000.
Yeah.
Now, meanwhile, he didn't pay for the repairs. He didn't utilize the programs online that are going to charge him all these fees.
Yeah.
And he was able to do it through someone who he knew, liked, and trusted.
Yeah. And honestly, like, he netted an extra, I forget the exact number, but I know it was in between 60 and 80 grand in his pocket and walked away and helped him pay off the debts that he had, helped him get a new car that he wanted, right? And put him in a much better financial position.
I don't think he needed that.
Well,
he could have kept the Rubisu. I think he would have been okay with that. But
I think he was sick of it. But
it was a choice. But I think that's the key.
He was able to take care of the things that he wanted to take care of and more, just by chatting with more people and putting in a little bit of effort. Honestly, like, I think for the repairs that he did, he maybe brought, was it like $1,700?
Yeah,
maybe a little less, $1,250, something like that. And we did painting the cabinets, redid the floors, painted the entire house, power washed the outside and the roof.
Some small landscaping.
And I think we
power
restained
washed the deck.
But I think we painted it or restained it, something like that. Yeah. And just tidied up the back porch as well. So none of these are major renovations and shit.
It was a huge difference.
Yeah.
Something that's interesting, we can also talk about when it comes to these iBuyer programs and these wholesalers or investors. The difference between taking a cash offer versus a mortgage transaction, right? So if a seller takes a cash offer versus a mortgage transaction, like, let's look at the pros and the cons, right? Cash offer, pro, quick money, quick.
Yeah.
Right? mortgage transaction pro, good money long.
Yeah, but it's
Right?
but realistically, it's not much longer.
No, that's
unless
what I'm
you
saying,
as a seller are on a tight timeline. I don't give a fuck if they're offering cash or if they have a loan.
Bro, like if death was knocking at my door, I still would take a mortgage transaction. It's 30 to 45 days. And the cash offer can't close in less than 2 weeks.
Right.
So like if we're looking at 30 to 45 days for a mortgage transaction, death's knocking at my door. I might die any day now. I'm still taking the extra 50 grand.
Right. And
Mortgage transaction every day.
yeah.
Now, if I was looking to make a purchase, let's build up a different hypothetical scenario. My family and I are looking to sell a house that we inherited. We're looking to buy that, or we're looking to sell that property, and we're looking to buy another property for ourselves. And the perfect property came on the market, and we want to buy it right now, and we need the funds from the inheritance. Cash offer versus mortgage offer. iBuyer program, wholesaler, investor versus mortgage offer.
Are you asking me which one I would go for?
Yeah.
Go for? You said you're inheriting a property.
Inherited a property.
Okay.
Need to buy another property for my family. The perfect house came on the market. We want to buy it right now.
I would still go with a mortgage.
Okay. Why?
I mean, I think there's certain benefits to it, or
Okay.
like certain things you might be able to work out, right? Are you just getting an inheritance, or are you, like, you're obviously selling your property? Someone's doing laundry or sweeping. Or
we don't
vacuuming.
have the capacity to do the sale.
So
at the time that we
would a
purchase.
bridge loan apply here?
No. That is a good thought, but knock it down. Cut it out.
There's got to be mortgage loan versus iBuyer in that situation.
Dum, 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 dum. For me personally, I would take the cash offer. There is a time and a place.
If you were like, Christian, this is the only home I want, I'm 100% confident
Yeah.
I want to die in this house, then yeah. I'd
There's
probably
a
go that.
time and a place, right? Everything has its cost. Everything has its reason. And for me, what just happened? Somebody's dying.
What? That sounded like someone just broke into a car into your basement. Like, who put the BMW down here?
Just your wife, sorry.
What happened?
I touched the wet sensor.
With?
Sensor when I moved it because I'm trying to do stuff over here.
There's a sensor. What?
It's a wet sensor, Christian.
Is this water or?
So that you know when someone's pregnant and their water broke.
Okay.
Could you imagine?
The pure panic that would set in. Just
Anyway, all right. So there is a time and a place.
there is.
The situation would be that I'm selling that family home, or I'm selling my primary residence, or I need to get out of town, and I don't care about the money. And I think that has a place. And we have investors that do that, where we buy a property from someone just for the simplicity of getting it off your books.
Yeah.
I think the challenge is that people are so willing to accept that for a reality, like a normalcy. It's
Well, that's why
equivalent to
that's the same thing why I think people got there in the first place.
right.
Those have a correlation.
It's the same thing as me going, oh, damn, John, your sandwich came with ketchup and pickles on it and mayonnaise and cheese. I'm sorry, we ordered it plain. Let me go up there and complain about it. And I, of course, don't say complain. I say like, oh, let me go say something to them. And he goes, no. I don't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
I'm like, you'd rather be miserable than just the simplicity of saying, hey, by the way, maybe we got these mixed up, but I really don't like mayonnaise.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that? And by the way, I made a critical error. You're gonna laugh at this one. All right, so I went to a place in what is that place called? Not Broadway Market, Belvedere Square. I went to Belvedere Square. They had this really amazing like Louisiana kitchen. The guy worked behind the counter, startup business, whatever. And I ordered a muffletta. Do you know what that is?
Never.
It's a Louisiana dish. It's like a
never.
sub, and a muffletta is like some sliced meats and a ciabatta roll or whatever it is, and it comes with a pesto sauce and it looks freaking delicious.
I'm about
so
it.
I order the muffletta, right? And the guy's like making it. I'm like, oh, it looks so good, so good. Toasted this and cheese with that and blah, 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 whatever it was. Don't make fun of me. I don't know what it is. Serves it to me, slices it, asks if I'm going to eat it right there. I'm like, yeah, can I have half to go? He's like, yeah, no problem. So he puts half in a bag. He puts half on a plate. I'm ready to eat it. And I bite into it. One big juicy ass bite. It's fucking awful. I go, oh God. There's olives on this, aren't there? And he goes, yeah, are you allergic? And I was like, no, I just really don't like them. Right? So like me being the person, I fucking can't stand
olives. Are
olives.
disgusting.
Awful. And the guy goes, no worries, I'll make you a new sandwich. And I'm like, no, it's not that big of a deal. I don't want you to go out of your way. Like, no problem. Can we just like scrape it off and like put an aioli on it or whatever? And he's like, are you sure they're really powerful? And I was like, no, it'll be fine. So he takes the bag, he takes the sandwich out of the bag, he takes my half, scrapes it all off, puts an aioli on it, puts it back in the bag, all these other shit. And I'm so fucking cheap that, bro, I fucking scarfed that thing down. And I ate the other half because I wasn't going to let it go to waste.
Yeah.
It was awful, but I'm not gonna not say something.
Yeah.
That's just who I am. But there's other people in the world that would just like fucking throw it in the trash and go buy something else. And they're the same people that go sell a property to a wholesaler.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking it. There's a time and a place. We just had that conversation.
Yep.
But like, bro, if somebody comes knocking on my door with olives and offers to buy my house, I'm going to lose my fucking mind. That would be like two of my worst nightmares. Speaking of people coming door to door for, cash options, randomly, where I live. We're in the middle of nowhere. Everybody has 2 acres. We're under the trees, long driveway, whatever. Some dude walked up to my house last week.
Where do you park?
Walked up to my house. Knock, 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 backed away from the door. And he says, hey, I work with such and such a roofing company, hat, shirt, whatever. I see your roof and I wanted to offer you. And I was like, nah, man, I have a roofing company. But like, damn, he was out there.
Good for him. Good for him.
But that's how they get you. They come knock, knock, knock. And they say, oh, I have a cash offer for you.
Yeah.
And what sounds better than a cash offer?
Right.
I think the challenge is that people forget to rely on their trusted advisor.
Yeah. Well, I tell people even when we're touring property, they see a property online.
It was awful.
I tell them if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
Like, give me an example.
Someone sees a property online. It's in this area.
Okay.
Baltimore County.
Yep.
Let's say it's a 3-bedroom. Let's say 4-bedroom, 2.5 bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many fucking square footage, but they're
Sure.
like, it's listed for $250,000 and it's move-in ready.
Damn.
And they're like, Christian, oh my God, I want to get out and see this. Tell me more about it. I want this home. And I log on to the MLS. I'm like, all right, let me see what the address is. Oh, this is a cool property. Boom, auction.
Of course.
And I'm like,
especially when it's pinned at that number.
Right. But that's why I say if it's too good to be true, it probably is. Because that property should not be listed at 250. And now this entire buyer pool is like going to it. But
I think the other one that makes me laugh is when people tell me that they sold their house all cash. Immediately, I know that they gave up some equity probably.
Yeah.
Right. But then the question becomes, who was the buyer? I'll never forget my mom sold a property. It was my grandmother's house. And the listing agent is someone that we've worked with in my family for a long time. And the buyer came along and offered my mom, let's just say it was like $270,000. Right.
yeah.
And my mom was like, well, we really wanted like $325, but it is a cash deal and it costs $800 a month to maintain this condo. So, we'll accept $270. Well, then he does the home inspection. And he comes back and he says, $245. And
Damn.
Yeah. And then, my mom like reluctantly agreed. And then it was like 2 weeks before settlement. He said something happened and he came back and he offered my mom like 200 and so it was 245. Maybe he offered 220 or something like that. And he was like, I'm not going to buy it unless you sell it for 220. Right. And my mom just like put her foot down and ended up selling the property for like 240. Right. Let's just say 240. It doesn't even matter if it was 240, 230, 220, 225. Doesn't matter, right? The point is that the dude just kept coming back and he kept being like, I'm buying in cash. You need to sell to me. Sell it to me now. And forever, I know who that guy is, and I know the business that he owns, and I just will not support that business because if that's how you do business, that's how you do business. That's how you treat your employees. That's how you treat your staff. That's how you treat your car drivers. That's how you treat your valet. Like you treat everybody.
Dude, a lot
with
of
that
investors
same attitude.
just give me
They're awful.
They're
awful.
Like I had an investor come to me. He wanted a property that went up for sale next door, and is one block down, but next door to his rental property.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And
I remember
the listing agent and the sellers had it way overpriced. Mm-hmm. So I understand getting it at the market value. I got him to come down, and I had the listing agent.
Was this a cash buyer?
No, not
That's
even.
what makes it even funnier.
Makes it even, worse.
Right.
But I had the listing agent go to the client and say, hey, look, this isn't like a reasonable market price. Can you meet with them? And we want to try and work this out. So they put it at a reasonable price, which was like 30 or even like 30, 40 grand under like market value. And I went to this investor. I was like, hey, look, I had the listing agent meet with the sellers. They got it down to this price. You know, this is a great spot for you to be in. There's hardly any work that needs to be done. He's like, no, I want it down 50 grand instead of 40. And I'm like, dude, go fuck yourself. And excuse my language to anybody listening.
But like, also, it's that such same dude is still without another investment.
Right. And like, he could have been way better off. The home just needed fresh paint and carpet. And then boom, he has another rental property.
Also, by the way, the interest rate has increased by like 1.5 points since that time.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I don't know. The perception of an investor is so crazy. Even a small detail. So when we bought the office, right? This has been me in every home purchase ever. So you sign on the dotted line, the seller agrees a couple days later, and then you have a period of time that you're going to have your inspections. And during the inspections period, you can ask the seller to, make repairs or, improve the status of the property. Let's just leave it at that. And then you also have the right to terminate the contract as the buyer. Well, we went to the office. We did our inspections. I brought people there almost every single day. I mean, we saw everything, including someone getting run over by a steamroller, which is a story for another time.
I've never heard this.
Oh, you didn't hear this story? No. All right, this is a story for another time. Remind me next time.
Stay tuned for that show.
But that's a true story also. Pretty gruesome. Anyway, so I'm in the basement. There's water in the basement. I'm actively concerned about it. I bring another contractor. All of a sudden, day 7 is gone. And day 8, I wake up in the morning and I call the listing agent. Now, I'm representing myself at the time, and the listing agent is representing the seller. And I said to the listing agent, good morning and thank you. And she said, well, what's going on? What's happening? Why are you calling? What's going on? And I said, absolutely nothing. I just wanted to say thank you for allowing me to get through the inspections period, because now that we're through the inspections period, everything is weighted off my back, because now we have to move forward. And I didn't want to come back to you and renegotiate the terms just because I got a little concerned.
Yeah.
And she said, well, I'm really thankful that you didn't, because as soon as the seller signed the offer and I delivered it to you, she called me and wanted to cancel the contract.
Yeah.
So had I gone back to the seller, had I brought that negative energy, she would have terminated the contract. We would have never owned the building.
Yeah, wow.
But just because good juju brings good juju, and look at how great we are now. We're such a good position. But sometimes investors fall flat on their face just trying to save a penny.
That's the problem.
It's like, dude, what if you took the opportunity to see it for the whole picture? But every investor is such a workup.
Yeah.
A workup, and they all have their own complexities, both of personality and of style. But I think it's a balance of how you can figure out what's the best fit for you. And going back to like the iBuyer investor thing, if that's the best fit for you, then great. But don't make that decision without talking to your trusted advisor, your real estate agent, your mortgage banker, your financial advisor, your attorney. And by the way, attorneys aren't all intelligent just because they have a law degree. Sorry, Dad, right? Like they're not all in the right path to service your needs. And an example of this is my dad, actually an attorney, and typically a family attorney and other things that he does, said to me, hey, if you know someone looking for a condo in this building, I have a client that might be interested in selling, but she doesn't know where to start. So I talked to the woman and she says, I don't want to have representation. I just want to sell it through word of mouth and I'm okay because the savings and I know people want to live here. Well, I just so happened to have a client that wanted to live in that building. Right. And because my dad, although he does have a real estate capacity by having a law degree in the state of Maryland, he chose to stay out of it. I was able to service my client and sell the property to my client. Also, by the way, there's my mom. Oh. Right. But if that hadn't happened, my client would have never had the opportunity to buy that home because we would have never known about it.
Right.
But then there are attorneys that like try to keep it in-house and try to protect it and love it. And I've been a part of an experience where an attorney sold a property for $225,000 or $275,000, sorry, that was easily worth $400,000. Easily. But I represented the buyer side. And so when we made our offer of $275,000, they accepted it.
Dude, I feel like
and we knew that it was worth
the people
$400,000.
that use iBuying or these like as is cash quick deals like have never walked into Best Buy, looked at a TV or computer and looked at multiple models, asked questions or read reviews online.
Well, you walk into Best Buy and somebody says, yeah, that's the TV that I have on my wall.
Well, my thing is like, I don't care. Like, I want to see what's out there. I need to make a decision. And that's just me personally. And I know not everybody's wired the same way.
What I want is I want to develop a relationship with the guy at Best Buy and say, hey, if this is the TV that you have, what type of sound bar would you use? Dude. And they say, this one. And I go, why? And they go, I don't know. I'm like, well, do you have a sound bar? Yeah. Which one do you have? That one. Why did you choose that one? Right? Like, because if you just accept for face value, I'll give you $275,000 for your house. Are you even doing the research to figure out what's going to be the best fit for you? And by the way, sorry to cut you off. By the way, if you get an offer from a cash buyer and then consult with a real estate agent, it doesn't cost you anything.
Right.
Well, it shouldn't. There are agents that charge, but it creates the opportunity for you to aggregate information and decide what's the best fit.
Treat this the same way as you would your doctor, right? And like,
wow, that's not a good one.
What do you mean? I went to
I'm the person that goes to the doctor. The doctor says you need a shot. I go, okay.
Well, no, like let's kind of elevate it here. I would go to my orthopedic and I get my MRI and we go over the options. And she's like, well, you know, some doctors would tell you just to jump right into surgery, but I don't think that's your case. And then I can ask her questions about surgery, injections, or what if I just continued PT? And she gave me her honest opinion, what my goals are. And we literally formulated what I should do. And then she was like, if you want to schedule an appointment with the surgeon, even just to chat, I want you to feel comfortable doing that. You definitely can, whichever way you're leaning. I was like, okay, great.
That's because she's the orthopedist.
Well, yeah, but like
the surgeon's gonna tell you to get surgery.
No, I mean, she said he'll probably say the same thing that she did.
Maybe depends on the surgeon.
But she said that there are surgeons and orthopedics out there that'll tell you to jump into surgery just to jump into surgery. And she's like, I'm not that.
I think that's who you trust.
Well, that's
it's
why
not
I say,
a right or wrong.
That's why I say it kind of
in
relates.
The end of the day, all of these people generate the same response, right? Every single property I've ever seen come from a wholesaler is either an estate, a junk property, a rental property going through some hard times, a rental property with a tenant that's not cooperating. I mean, they're never optimized properties. It's never a 12-acre estate with a gate and a this, that, and the other coming through a wholesaler.
I got one. So you remember, there was a property in Severna Park I sold last year.
Totally. I remember every single house.
Elizabeth bought it.
Elizabeth who?
Gosh, I can't think of the last name off the top of my head.
Elizabeth Plang?
No,
she didn't buy anything yet.
No,
she's gonna. Just a matter of time.
I was trying to bring it up, but for the sake of the story, the listing, the seller went to like 1-800-listmyhome.com.
Yep.
The appraisal ended up coming in short.
Mm-hmm. I vaguely remember that.
And I was like, hey, like, I just told her, like, this is what the lender's expecting. If you get it over to him, great. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to lower the price. And then after the time where she could send more comps and properties to the lender, that window of like 24 or 48 hours of Tidewater had already passed. And then she lost out on $5,000. And on like how much money would she have paid a listing agent? Because she already paid the buyer's agent, me, in that transaction.
Correct.
If she spent a little bit more money to have an agent maybe she doesn't lose out on that $5,000 appraisal. She has someone that can go to bat for her, right? And it's like people are...
But you could go to the ends of the earth with that, because you can also say, oh, well, maybe a better agent would have negotiated more for her in the beginning, or maybe a better agent would have put her in a position to be more successful. And
that's my point, though.
Right.
That's my point.
But also, we're not here to preach like use a real estate agent. What we're here to say is like use a specialist. So if you're the specialist, if you know the property, but don't sit with me in the kitchen and tell me how special the property is. This is a true story, and I hope this guy sees me on my podcast. It would be the highlight of my day.
You should just send it to him.
This guy, I walk into his property and I said, oh, how are you? And he says, do you know me? And I go, nope. You don't recognize me from the commercials? And I was like, I don't watch a lot of TV. I sell real estate. And he was like visibly upset that I didn't recognize him.
What?
I'm like, I don't give a shit. You're not a specialist at this. You're a specialist at what you do. Whatever it is that you're on commercials for.
Yeah.
Don't walk me through your house. Tell me all this shit. By the way, this particular guy had an active leak coming out of his water heater, worse than anything I've ever seen. Water in the base of the basin pan. Yeah. I could see it. Stains all the side. But he's telling me, I did this and the kitchen's that and all. Blah, 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 blah. You're not a specialist. Go away.
You should be like, well, what about that?
Well, I didn't want to say anything. It's like if you hire a specialist and you know that you're getting the person that's going to perceive the most value, you're actually going to bring more value to yourself.
Yeah.
So for those people that are thinking about using the iBuyer program, there is a time and a place, but I bet you your real estate specialist, myself, Christian, or otherwise, has an iBuyer program for you.
That is also
so let's
true.
work together to make it happen. If you're not going to take advantage of the programs that we have to renovate and sell, the micro renovations, if you're not going to take advantage of the investors that want to buy your property directly, if you're not going to take advantage of the market for what it is today, help us help you by not choosing the route before you even have the information. Right? Yeah. Don't go get surgery before you have the information, because you go to the wrong surgeon and this, that, and the other. Whoo-wee, man.
This was a fun one.
Started off on the wrong foot, I guess. Or the right foot, depending on how you look at it. Anyway, all right, guys. Well, you know where to reach us. You can reach me on Instagram at michael.frank____. Or you can always go to our website at frankoliverco.com under additional resources and read more about this podcast and others. For the blog, you can always follow us on Instagram if you haven't already. And, of course, on YouTube. Go ahead, Christian.
You can follow find me on Instagram at Christian the Deadhead.
The Goosey Head.
We'll see.
And on our website, too. Catch you guys soon.
Later.
What's up, guys? Thanks for watching. For more information on the housing market, Real Estate 101, how you can leverage your position in today's market, and so much more, click on the link below. If you like this video or have a burning real estate question you'd like us to answer, leave us a comment and let us know. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss an episode, and we'll see you again real soon.